Hey, it's Debbie Potts, and I'm going to go over some PNOE information and share with you how I test. So, just again, testing your heart rate variability is really important part of what we'll talk about in an upcoming webinar Wednesday, January 8th, with Nuvana Life co-founder Amy, and then heart rate variability expert Rhonda Collier of Sweet Bee Life. We're going to do a webinar, three of us talking about the vagus nerve. I'm going to talk about metabolism, metabolic health, and we're calling this the Metabolic Harmony Seminar, talking really about vagus nerve and how heart rate variability is a way to measure your vagus nerve. A higher heart rate variability indicates a better parasympathetic or vagal activity linked to improve recovery, mitochondria health, exercise adaptation, and functional lab testing we can add in here as cortisol, inflammatory markers, the cytokine CRP. Also look at insulin, looking at vitamin D, and a Dutch test can look at the cortisol, melatonin movement throughout the day, circadian rhythm. High stress. Are you having a lot of stress in your life? Where is that coming from? Are you exercising too hard all the time? Are you doing too much life activities that you burn the candle both ends of the day? So we look at external stressors and hidden sources of internal hidden stressors that can impact your vagal function. So with PNOE testing, we're going to do a little demo here. You're looking at creating a program that targets vagal nerve improvements with the breathing work, relaxation, stress management for recovery, not just working out hard. So with PNOE, I'm going to work on improving my metabolism. I'm going to learn how to train properly. And so just let me stop sharing my screen. What I do is a air analyzer. So I've heated this up for 3 hours and I just calibrated it. This is the device analyzing your air. I can do this at rest, 10 minutes. I'm going to put this mask on. This goes over my head and this goes on the top. And we connect the device together. That mask and this little rubber connection here will help us analyze what I'm breathing in. So when I'm talking about PNOE testing, we're using this mask, and this should be tight up here, but we're measuring the air that I'm breathing. So if I'm doing a test, I'm going to use the app. And the app on here, I'm connecting everything together. My heart rate strap's on. And so I'm going to do a test, and all the information is on this app. Crazy. So if I had this measured, I'm not exercising, obviously, but it's calibrated. And then I'll say my heart rate's on here, and then I'll get all this data, and I'm testing someone, volume of oxygen in, carbon dioxide, my RER, respiratory exchange ratio, heart rate, fat to carb burn, all that's down here, breathing frequency, ventilation threshold. So I don't have any equipment here, but a rebounder. So I can do this, analyze my air. So this air in here is being analyzed into this device. So I just want to show you what it looks like. And then that's what the table back here is for. It's a resting metabolism table I use to track. So this is what PNOE testing is. And that is what we can put in a backpack, this device, and take you out measuring your numbers here. So then we get a big 20-something page report, and I turn this off, abort test. But that is what PNOE testing is. It's portable. Back in the day when I did New Leaf testing, it was a big, huge computer. The tubes are connected, come to the face mask, and we measure the air. But now it's just this little valve here, filter, air being analyzed into this machine. And then as a battery pack, so it's just great. It comes in a little backpack. That's what I do PNOE testing. Now, going back to the screen, you can read my article I went over a little bit the other day. but just what is the role of mitochondria in muscle metabolism? And so, how are we using Panoe to help create your ideal self? What is the role of mitochondria muscle metabolism? And what are the role of the capillaries? So, mitochondria, you know by now, energy production, create ATP, oxidative phosphorylation, nutrients as carbs, fats, sometimes protein. But ATP in the muscles, ATP is essential for muscle contraction recovery. So we need that. Now, mitochondria play central role in oxidating fats and carbohydrates, making them critical for endurance, exercise, and fat metabolism. So it's not just for athletes. At rest, we want to be burning fat. When we're exercising, we want to be burning fat at our fat max or MUNA. We figure out where our exercise intensity needs to be. So we're burning the most fat. And then we're doing sprint interval training, high intensity interval training. We're going up to where our heart rate is elevated. We're burning glucose, lactate is being produced, and high sprint, we're doing our creatine phosphate for fuel. And then we recover down to zone 1 and then go hard again. So it's important to know that mitochondria are helping in that oxidative phosphorylation. So mitochondria, going back here, play a role of oxidizing fats and carbohydrates for exercise. And with consistent training, our mitochondria increase in number and efficiency. We're making new mitochondria with mitochondria biogenesis, which allow muscles to better use oxygen and nutrients for energy production, this improving endurance, performance, recovery. So if we go back to how we're measuring with Panoe Metabolism Kit or some other companies out there, but there are benefits to testing, not guessing where your fat max is. So I have some people that are 98 heart rate, that's peak fat max, because they do all the workouts very intensely. I just had someone there 107 and 115 we need to stay in. And then we do sprint training. So similar to what Brad Kearns and Mark Sisson are talking about in that we're born to walk and do sprints and not do running. I think it's more, I interpret as that we're looking at more that zone 3 workout for a lot of us that start running and not able to go slow enough to keep our heart rate where we're burning most fat. Maybe you're there as a Maffetone method, max aerobic function heart rate training, so we get faster and faster at those low heart rates. But a lot of people are not doing this metabolism testing. They're not using Maffetone's method. And so I see a lot of people running in that gray zone. So another thing we want to look at is the role of the capillaries. We need to get more blood flowing in there. So oxygen, nutrient delivery is needed. Capillaries are tiny blood vessels that deliver the oxygen and nutrients and hormones to the muscle cells and then take out, remove the waste products as carbon dioxide and lactate. Now, we don't say lactic acid is a bad thing. We use lactate, it gets recycled. Listen to my metabolism test, lactate metabolism seminar, going over that super fascinating newer research on the role of lactate in our body. So well-developed capillary network ensures that muscles receive oxygen and the nutrients necessary for mitochondrial function. So we can't just focus on one thing. The body works as a whole. So we want to work on getting more mitochondria, right? So we want new mitochondria, get rid of the old ones, but also we want to have delivery system of the oxygen, nutrients, hormones to the muscle cells and be able to remove the waste products. So waste removal, capillaries are involved in removing waste, products from muscle cells, aiding recovery, and reducing buildup of fatigue-causing substances. And lactic acid, that's outdated because it's not a bad thing. Lactate is not fatigue. It's the acidity in our blood that's fatiguing us because we're acidic. And lactate is recycled and reused as a fuel source for the brain, heart, and muscles. Now, training increases. So how do we get more capillary? By how we train. So we get more capillary density in muscle tissue, allowing for better oxygenation and more efficient waste removal. This leads to improved endurance and faster recovery, as well as increased mitochondrial activity. So how we train, what frequency, intensity, type of exercise, all of that's important. So that goes to the next section, training. How do we improve a mitochondria and capillary? So long sustained distance, so it's running, cycling, swimming, hiking, anything that's down in that zone 1 and 2 will help mitochondria density and efficiency. These exercises also stimulate capillary growth and improve delivery of oxygen to the muscle fibers. Now, HIIT training, this is where you need to figure out how much is right for you, because you say, oh, well, Peter Attia keeps talking about that we need 80% aerobic exercise zone 2 and then 20% HIIT training. And then there's people that are doing HIIT training every single workout. That's more zone 3 training if you do it every day, because you should need recovery afterwards. And so there's Stacy Sims that said women don't need as much zone 2. They need more sprint interval zone 5. So what is it for you? What do you need? It gets confusing. You are unique. We all are different places in our routines, in our life, and our time we have to exercise. So we want to look at you as a unique individual and figure out what is best for you. Yes, women are better at zone 2. We need more fast twitch muscle fibers, and we need more 10, 20, 30-second sprints. Men, maybe they need more zone 2, but I can identify that when we do a Pinoy metabolism test. So strength training is really important, as we know, as we age. Focus on increasing strength training helps that muscle tissue, so you have a larger glucose disposal site, enhance mitochondria function, and creating more demand for energy production with more mitochondria. Over time, this can support better endurance and efficiency of muscle metabolism. So getting nutrient-dense whole foods, getting nature's carbs, not getting a lot of the sugars and processed foods to get more of a single food ingredient, healthy fats, and certain micronutrients as CoQ10, B vitamins, getting that from eating grass-fed meat, liver, support mitochondria function. Remember, supplement what you're not getting from your food, but always start with nutrient-dense, real food, balances your blood sugar, nourishes your cells, and proper digestion and absorption is the other part. So you are not just what you eat, but what you can break down and absorb. And a lot of people lack enough sufficient amount of digest enzymes, acidic environment in the stomach, so they often need HCl betaine if they don't have H. pylori. So we need to look at your gut function, as well as if you have gut inflammation, leaky gut, that you have a damaged gut wall lining, so you're not even absorbing these nutrients. So that's why I like IVs, injections, or liposomal delivery for supplements that don't have to bypass your digestive system. Compounds as creatine. I'm big on creatine, especially women, where there's a ton of research on 5 grams a day. L-carnitine, antioxidants are really essential as we age, because we've talked about why we're creating more oxidative stress with harder workouts, and we have less antioxidant production. So we need to supplement with the right type of antioxidant foods. And this will all enhance mitochondria efficiency and protect against oxidative damage. Now, what is the role of this Pinoy testing? So this metabolism testing here, when I put the mask on you, we analyze the air that you're breathing in and exhaling. That's going to also help us figure out your breathing rate, the gas exchange during exercise. This will tell us how efficiently your body is using fat as fuel and oxygen, as well as carbohydrate metabolism at different intensities. So as the intensity increases, your fuel source will switch. So we have oxidative phosphorylation, zone 1 and 2, where we see fat should be burning as your primary fuel source. And so old terms, we say aerobic versus anaerobic threshold, but it's oxidative phosphorylation. And then we have anaerobic threshold, the fuel sources are shifting. So we still are not without oxygen, but oxygen is not required to create that fuel source. Now, your body's ability to shift between fat and carbohydrates metabolized during exercise, that's what we call metabolic flexibility. So if I brought your test up towards your zone 3 or 0.91 RQ value for a fat max metabolic efficiency test, maybe we went to your VO2 peak, but what happens when I bring you back down to zone 1 and 2 that you found peak fat max before? Are you able to shift fuel source back to fat metabolism? That's something I used to do years ago when I started New Leaf testing in 2005. I started challenging the Method are these clients using fat as their main fuel source? And we used to say, once you go above that max aerobic function, you're not going back to carbohydrate metabolism. Well, now we know 20 years later, that's metabolic efficiency and metabolic flexibility, switch back carbohydrate metabolism, shift back to fat metabolism. How do we train that? How do we improve that? That's what we're talking about. So metabolic efficiency is what I just went over, measuring your RER, what comes in, what goes out, the ratio of the twos of fat to carbohydrates. The number 0.85 is 50-50, 0.7 is primarily fat, 1.0 is your carbohydrate. Now, remember, I talked about Lumen, and Lumen is a great device to use for testing that metabolic flexibility, and benefits of Lumen are more that day to day to figure out what your flexibility is. So that is, I think, $250 or something, but there's a lot of benefits for testing day to day metabolic flexibility to help you figure out your weight loss plan. The exercise testing we're doing here is more accurate than the Lumen is good day to day thing. But don't rely just on the Lumen. I think you should still do this test every 2 months. So Pinoy helps you understand, are you fat burning or carb burning? Again, we are learning to take out aerobic versus anaerobic, but what fuel source are you burning? So we can figure out your training, nutrient timing, and recommendations for where you have areas of opportunity. What are you doing too much of? What are you doing enough of? Let's create the right balance of your workouts for you, strength, interval, and your zone 1 and 2. Now, mitochondria health, what does that mean? Informing your mitochondria function and the capacity of your cardiovascular system to deliver the oxygen to your cells. So capillaries into the mitochondria or into the muscle cells help us improve our endurance. Maybe you're not racing as myself, but endurance of life. We want to keep that endurance up as we age. Metabolic flexibility to help our nutrition, training, and race planning. Now, how do we tie in these functional lab tests? So again, insulin, I think, is huge. I like to look at your liver and the gallbladder function. Are you digesting fats properly? Do you have a congested liver? I have so many clients that come to me with their gallbladder taken out. Why was that? Because we ate fat-free diet forever, where it had stagnant flow of your bile. So we started to get issues. So we want to look at how's your digestion, how's your insulin sensitivity. That's going to give us a sign of mitochondria function. And I'm also learning that high levels of lactate in your blood at rest, and that's a video I did with Fora company, that's an indication of poor metabolic health as well. The fatty acid profile, you can do organic acids tests as micronutrient tests, but that can evaluate how your ability to burn fat, mitochondria function. And so looking at your fat metabolism for energy. So organic acids test is just a great simple urine test. Now micronutrients, you can see what you're low in. Again, it's a urine test, some blood, but urine test, magnesium, CoQ10, B vitamins are needed for your mitochondria. And then stool tests, I think, are really beneficial for everyone. So my key tests, I would do a Dutch test, a full blood chemistry panel, and a gut test. And then we can do food sensitivity or wheat zoomer. I really like to see your LPS endotoxins levels of endotoxins are really important. And look at leaky gut markers. So lots of tests you can do. Obviously, they cost money. So we look at budget. So starting with the blood chemistry and a stool test would probably be helpful. Now, how do we use this all together? So we use metabolism testing, functional lab testings if you can, and look at day-to-day markers as your heart rate variability, using a heart rate strap to measure that, help improve your nutrition, your exercise, your sleep, your stress management, your lifestyle, movement, time during the day, you're moving after you eat, and working on maybe some breath work, cold sauna plunge, alternating hot and cold, looking at what you can do to improve your health. And I think a lot of that is the vagal nerve, looking at your parasympathetic to sympathetic, your vagal tone through heart rate variability. So that's how we test. Heart rate variability will help test your vagal nerve function, and looking at your parasympathetic activation for recovery. Looking at your mitochondria through Pinoy testing, looking at metabolic flexibility, but knowing that too much of everything causes chronic stress. And so vagus nerve will help us indicate that. So if your heart rate variability is always low, we want to work on that vagus nerve strengthening exercises, because excess sympathetic nervous system from chronic stress increases your cortisol and reactive oxygen species, which damage mitochondria and impair energy production. So if you feel like you're struggling doing all the right things, you're not getting desired results, I would look at metabolism testing, as I do. Come to San Diego, Solana Beach, and then look at your vagus nerve. Look at red light therapy, grounding mats, looking at walking barefoot, come here and we'll go to the beach and go for a walk. Wanting to make sure we're recovering from those workouts. So if you're doing what's recommended, sprint interval training, it's zone 1 to zone 5, back and forth. If you're doing that every day, you might notice poor vagal nerve activity. Vagal activity promotes blood flow to the muscles during recovery, ensuring efficient removal of metabolic byproducts and delivering nutrients needed for tissue repair. So if your heart rate variability is dropping, which is bad, not ideal, not optimal, this is something you might want to look at. You're not recovering between workouts. So make sure you're paying attention to a true heart rate variability test using the chest strap. Look at our seminar coming up Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. But we want to support activation of our repair pathways over breakdown. So anabolic is building versus catabolic is breakdown, especially after your workout. So great infographic here on the role of the vagus nerve, how important it is for aging and for the athlete. So how do you improve vagal nerve? We'll talk about controlled breathing, meditation, mindfulness, cold exposure, helps stimulate the vagus nerve. Exercise, low to moderate intensity, helps increase vagal tone. So that's zone 1, walking slowly throughout the day, zone 2, and nutrition, anti-inflammatory, antioxidants support vagus nerve. Microbiome is influenced by vagal activity. So getting a healthy microbiome, healthy cells is what we should look at. And then I will do a second video going through some of my favorite products that are good to invest in your health. True Niagen, BioSil, help generate more collagen production, hair, helps stress levels, fine lines, wrinkles that I'm working on. And then I love Body Health. They have so many great new products out, but they have good program here. You can see all their products. Again, don't over supplement. Work on lifestyle habits first. Nitric oxide, I've been using these lozenges. This is another gift idea, activating serum and having this, working on increasing oxygen flow this way from your skin, as well as taking the tablets or inside. So interesting combination, activating serum. I've been trying to do this before the sauna, fully absorb 2 minutes before adding anything, morning and night. So seeing if that helps before the sauna. And then the lozenges, 1 lozenge twice daily, 12 hours, empty stomach. So that is a podcast coming up again on nitric oxide. So great info there. Nira is my other thing. I've been trying to do good gift idea. They have a big sale on for the holidays, but this is laser. You can put on your face. I've been trying to under eyes. My other favorite thing, red light mask, or they have red light devices. So important area, I think, for red light therapy. Ketones, another good shot you can take throughout the day for workouts. Good videos. They're having out more. And looking at stress. And then at Lumen. So Coach Debbie Potts for all these things. Oh, $199 Lumen. So use a coupon code. I think Lumen's on sale, $199. It's a great price. So let me know your questions. I want you to be metabolically healthy, and I'm hoping you're fit and healthy from the inside out. So test and not guess. Try to find someone to do a metabolism test, or come see me in Solana Beach, North San Diego, and also working on cellular health. Maybe looking at True Niagen and working on with skin health as we age is my goal. So improving how we age, stop blaming the aging process and embrace it and do things a little differently. So changing how we fuel, how we train, really focusing on those lifestyle habits, stress management, and getting that quality sleep. So the holistic method is how I coach people. Let's talk soon and look at doing a group program. I'm doing middle January or private coaching if you want to really take it to the next level. DebbiePotts.net over.